our part of the world, unfortunately, there isn't a lot of focus, and a lot of parents and schools do not have an idea on how to be able to work with kids who have dyslexia. So when I heard about the Dyslexia Ghana Foundation and the African Dyslexia Organization and their aim to create awareness about dyslexia, I was very, very happy, because I think it is really time that we get to create the awareness for people who have this disability. I'm also happy because we have the managing director of Movenpick Ambassador Hotel, a leading hotel in Ghana, and they've taken upon themselves to, as part of their CSR, support this initiative. So with a round of applause, shall we please welcome Mr. Abner Musa.
Thank you very much. So I would like to formally welcome you on behalf of Movenpick Ambassador Accra Hotel, a part of Accor Group. We are very happy to be a part of this Go-Rest campaign for Dyslexia Awareness Week. As you might know, you might have heard, we are running a lot of corporate responsibility, social responsibility programs under Planet 21 in Accor. So we hope we will continue our efforts to support the local community in Ghana, in Accra, in our best way. We are passing through difficult times, as you all know, because of the COVID-19, but we are still doing our best to support these valuable initiatives such as Dyslexia Awareness Week with Go-Rest campaign. So I would like to warmly welcome you again, and thank you very much for coming. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the welcome address. We're going to go straight to the second item, and we're launching the Dyslexia Awareness Week. And as I already mentioned, this Go-Rest campaign is being masterminded here in Ghana by the Africa Dyslexia Organization and Dyslexia Ghana. And I'm very privileged now to welcome on stage the founder of this organization. But before I do that, if I could crave your indulgence, give you a bit of hair bio. So Rosalind is a seasoned and successful leader with a track record of producing, presenting, and managing the implementation of innovative hospitality and tourism business solutions and services in Africa and across the world in the past 15 years. She is herself a dyslexic who started reading and writing at the age of 17. She holds a master's in international hospitality management from the acclaimed Swiss Hotel Management School in Switzerland and a Walt Disney Hospitality Leadership Fellow, and also worked as guest experience manager at Walt Disney World in the USA. Currently, she's the lead consultant at the IQ Mundo, which is into hospitality and education consulting firm, and also the Swiss Education Group country rep for Ghana, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and as we already know, the founder of the Africa Dyslexia Organization, World Economic Forum Global Shapers, and founding curator of the Dodowa Hub. With a round of applause, shall we welcome the founder, Rosalind Ferrer.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. I'm super excited to see many faces here today. This day means a lot to me and a lot of children and even adults who don't know they are dyslexic. Okay, so I have a note prepared, but it's always like this when you stand in front of people and you're having a mindset change. So I'll take you a little moment back for you to recognize something. I only found out I'm dyslexic 3 years ago. And so what that means is I have practically suffered all my life till date. I still see words that I'm like, what is this word? I still question myself if I'm enough. I still question myself, am I really lazy, stupid, or dumb as people used to think I was? And so when 3 years ago, I found out that so all my worry is contributed to something called dyslexia, I was like, no, I cannot keep quiet because I know that there are a lot of people that is going through experience as what I'm going through that are out there and they're being sidelined because we think or society think the only way someone is somebody is when you can speak the best English, when you can read the best vocabs and all that. And so I started like, I need to do something and I need to create awareness on it. But for me, what shocked me was for me finding out that when it comes to dyslexia, the US will say that 1 in every 5 people may be dyslexic. And the UK will say 1 in 10. And it is also estimated that in every population, we have between 15 to 20% of the population being dyslexic. And that's a very big number. If you take in Ghana, which is about 30 to 32 million people, and you're going to have about 15, even if it's 10% of them who are dyslexic, then it's an issue that we need to talk about it. And dyslexia is also categorized under disability, learning disabilities. But you and I know that when they say disability, you probably see the person whose arm is not there, who is maybe a disabled person, physical disability, and you acknowledge it and recognize it. But how about that child who is experiencing learning challenges? Something that you can't see. So I can stand in front of you and, oh, I have dyslexia, so give me accommodation when it comes to examination. You might think like, are you going crazy or something? But no, the hidden ones are even the most dangerous ones because you do not see it. And I'm sure all of us sat in that class with that person who couldn't read and write, who was always getting lost in class, who their akromoti was drawn in their book with those red pen and being received canes and beatings all the time and punishment because they couldn't read and write. But I'm also aware that we can also say that because that person is like that, that person is dyslexic. We can only determine if someone has dyslexia when you have actually asked the person. And so, for me, when it comes to dyslexia, it's really, really key and dear to my heart. And so this month being October for dyslexia awareness, we said we can't keep quiet. And thankfully, I was connected to Dyslexia Ghana, who has been in the space of dyslexia for the past 15 years, raising awareness, helping parents to bring out their child. We have some fantastic stories you're going to hear today of the work they've been doing. So that means that when the needed attention is given at a very early stage, a child can actually realize their dreams. Because I believe every child is something. Every child has a gift. Every child is a star. The only way the child loses that star is when the opportunity is not given to them at the right stage or even in their life. Therefore, today, I'm excited we're doing the Go Red campaign. And the idea behind the Go Red is when they come to school and you receive your book, and they mark it with those red marks and you got it correct, you are very happy. But for a dyslexic child or a child facing learning difficulties, when they receive that red marks in their books, it's sadness, it's fear, it's anger, it's anxiety, it's lust, and it even feels like bullying. So for us, we also do know and acknowledge that red has strength in it. And therefore, we want to claim that strength back and say that yes, I may be dyslexic. Yes, I may be that child who cannot read and write. But then, if you give me the needed support, I can have the strength to pursue things in life. I can have the strength to move in life. And that is why we are going red for 7 days from now to the 11th
of October. So I'm excited that you are joining in with us to learn about dyslexia and also to support us. Take this message out there. Don't just listen to it and leave it here. You may not have the child who cannot read and write in your home, but there's somebody may. So just keep the awareness going. Invite us to your group meetings. Invite us to your churches. Let us talk about it. And together, we can make a change. Together, we can give hope to a child somewhere. Thank you.
A round of applause. Very passionate speech from Rosamond. And you can see where belies her passion. She, not until 3 years ago, she realized that she had dyslexic. And I can imagine that what went through your mind when you realized eventually that all these that you were going through in the past was attributed to some sort of disability. But in the same way, I like the fact that you derive strength from it, and you want to impact the society by allowing others who may be going through this too at this time notice it, be empowered, and also be encouraged. I also want to note here that the Go Red campaign is an international phenomenon. It's not just Ghana, and that it's actually started in Australia by the Code Read Dyslexia Network, and now in the UK, US, and elsewhere. And now currently Ghana, we are all having this campaign. So it's really a very worthwhile mission and effort. Another interesting fact is that either 1 in 5 or 1 in 10, from 10 to 20% of the population have dyslexia. And so it is really, something that we have to take seriously. Because imagine if you haven't created a platform to, help students who may be suffering from dyslexia. And then there's no segregation, there's no differentiation in learning for these kids. And as Rosamond said, all we put is Kokomoti because they're not able to understand. And I'm happy I'm seeing some educationists here, because eventually I'm sure there's going to be some takeaways from this experience, and we can be able to help our kids who currently have dyslexia. I'm also happy at this juncture to invite another passion person in the space. She's currently a freelance diagnostic assessor, a dyslexia consultant, a social worker, has background in hotel and tourism management. It's interesting, right? It looks like although some of you dyslexia have some alignment with the hospitality industry. We probably have to do a research on that. She's a tutor as well, has a master's in education and psychology. She, of course, is the founder of the Dyslexia Ghana, Crossroads at UTUCAN, Vision Port International School. She's an ex-actress, a fashion model. She was based in the UK, Europe, and Australia, freelance editor, and a filmmaker. She is a member of the British Dyslexia Association and the British Psychological Society. And I must add that she is also a person with dyslexia. So we welcome the founder of Dyslexia Ghana, Mrs. Joy Thomas.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. All protocols observed. Welcome to Dyslexia Awareness Week 2020. It is my great pleasure to be here this morning. Whilst I'm unable to be with you physically due to the current climate, technology has enabled me to be with you remotely. May I take this opportunity to extend our gratitude to the management and staff of Movenpick Hotel for their tremendous kindness in providing us with this amazing venue to host this year's Dyslexia Awareness Day. Can I also thank all those who have contributed to this event. We could not have made it happen without you. Without further ado, let me introduce the topic of dyslexia. the reason why we are here today. Statistics tells us that 1 in 5 people have dyslexia. Therefore, in a group of 25 people, the chances are 5 people might have dyslexia. So you may be asking the question, what is dyslexia? Here, I have provided one of many definitions of dyslexia. Would anyone like to read it out for us? Difficult, isn't it? This provides a glimpse of the difficulties which someone with dyslexia may experience when trying to navigate the world of literacy. According to the UK National Health Service, dyslexia is a common learning difficulty that can cause problems with reading, writing, and spelling. It's a specific learning difficulty, which means it causes problems with certain abilities used for learning, such as reading and writing. Unlike a learning disability, intelligence is not affected. The word dyslexia derives from the Greek dys, meaning hard, bad, difficulty, and lex means speech or word. Thus, dyslexia can be understood as difficulty with words. The term dyslexia can refer to that which is acquired or developmental. Acquired dyslexia can result from a stroke or head injury, which are developmental, whereas developmental dyslexia is typically a lifelong condition which can be genetic. Dyslexia has a fascinating history, and there have been significant legal and social developments since the term was coined 130 years ago by Rudolf Berlin, a German ophthalmologist and professor in Stuttgart. Drawing on the work of Adolf Kussmaul, a professor of medicine at Strasbourg, who first identified the kind of difficulties Berlin described in 1877, defining it as word blindness. The first academic paper on the condition was published in the British Medical Journal in 1896 by a physician, William Pringle Morgan. And in the last 50 years, there have been significant advances both in understanding its causes and in finding ways to address it. During the same period, people with dyslexia and the parents of the children with dyslexia have campaigned for better support and awareness. Here is a brief overview of some significant dates. In 1962, the first reference to dyslexia is made in Parliament. In 1970, the Chronically Sick and Disabled Persons Act makes passing reference to dyslexia. And then in 1971, Helen Arkell founded the Helen Arkell Centre in London. In 1972, the British Dyslexia Association was formed in London. In 1978, Warnock Report on Special Education Needs is published. And then in 1987, dyslexia is formally recognized in parliamentary debate. In 2009, Rowe's Report on Dyslexia and Literacy Difficulties is published. And then in 2010, UK Equality Act was published, protecting dyslexia persons in the workplace. Irrespective of current debates around the use of the term, the work of the researchers, practitioners, and campaigners discussed in this brief overview has been crucial in the process of helping people with dyslexia try to overcome this struggle. Approximately 10 to 20% of the population in Ghana may have dyslexia. 5% may be severely so. Many of the people with dyslexia across Ghana, both adults and children, may be unable to fulfill their potential, as a large percentage of the population still do not understand what dyslexia is, the difficulty which dyslexia presents, and how best to support the condition. As you can see, we are on a journey, and there is still room for further development, particularly in the area of teacher training and accredited assessments of people with dyslexia, which will help to inform appropriate support. Thank you very much for your time today. Should you have any questions, this can be addressed later at the end of the program or by our website.
Round of applause. Thank you, Dora. So we still want to learn more. Or even a student, what you can do so that you can be able to cope and probably thrive even if you do have dyslexia. So a video presentation.
Not a very good state of affairs, Mrs. Jones. Not a very good state at all.
There must be something you can do.
We can do. I was rather hoping you might have done something to help. You clearly don't read to your son.
But I do read to him. Every night I have done for years.
Well, he's clearly not listening.
But his vocabulary is amazing. He's bright.
His classwork tells us otherwise.
No excuses for being lazy, Jones.
What's lazy, miss?
And maybe you're just stupid. You do not spell finger Thinger. Even a 3-year-old could spell better than you.
I tried to remember the words, miss.
Well, clearly your brain stopped working.
That's not all, Mrs. Jones. Your son is disruptive, violent.
But he's constantly being bullied.
It's you're a boy. It's so stupid, but he can't even spell his own name. Yeah, Michael. Spelled M-I-C-A-L. She changed the name to S-T-U-P-I-D. Stupid, 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 stupid.
I suggest you find another school, Mrs. Jones.
Stop playing with your food and eat your breakfast.
So, how's the new school?
Made any new friends? Or were the teachers nice? Did they teach you anything in school apart from how to
I
shrug?
don't want to go to school.
You've got to
I
go.
feel sick.
Okay, just see exactly how close you are to death's door. Tongue. That's biologically impossible. You're going to school.
I don't want to go to school. No. No.
All right, love. You okay?
Like had a spelling test yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Said he copied all the words from the boy next to him.
That's showing some initiative, right?
He got 0, Peter. Even though he copied, he still got 0.
Maybe the boy next to him's a crap speller too.
No, the other boy got them all right. Her son can't even copy.
Oh, sweetheart. Mike's just a slow learner, that's all.
There's a slow and then there's a dead stop. I'm telling the word is this, and then a few lines later he reads it as them.
Listen. Every child moves at their own pace. He'll catch up. He will. Sorry, love, I'm gonna have to dash now. It's the men's final.
have you been?
He's got dyslexia. They say it can run in families. He has difficulty reading and writing.
Is that what they call it now? Dyslexia. Well, that must be what I had, and I came out of it all right.
You got a sports scholarship.
Well, exactly. Maybe that's what Mike needs. Get into sport, get rid of some of that aggression.
He needs more than just a rugby ball, Peter. He needs help. Dyslexia is not that simple. He said it can vary massively from child to child. He also said that Mike has an IQ of 147. He's incredibly bright.
Well, there you go then.
I'd like to go through life without being able to read or write, or to be able to communicate.
Look. Maybe this school will finally be the one to sort it out. No, it will. Come here. That's what I'm going to tell you.
Spend an hour calming Mike down. His outbursts are getting worse. He's now in the 3rd school this year, Peter. It's been over 6 months since we had him diagnosed, and none of these schools are able to help.
What about that dyslexia specialist?
What? The one we can't afford?
Well, there must be someone who can help.
Good morning. Where can I find books on dyslexia? Remember what this one is? Oh, now this one's tricky. Important. And because syllables are important. Here. Yes. And I'll draw to a little one. Yes! I'm gonna get the draw. Come on then.
When you're up against a trouble, meet it squarely, face to face. Lift your chin and set your shoulders. Plant your feet and take a brace. When it's vain to try to
dodge it. Do the best that you can do. You may fail, but you may conquer. See it through.
Brilliant. You two are really brilliant.
That's why he needs to go to a better school.
Come here, son. Well done.
It seems your son Mike is doing very well, and you would like to enrol him here.
Yes, and we won't be able to pay the fees.
Ah. So, what on earth are you doing here, Mrs. Jones?
I have a proposition to make to you. My son Mike has dyslexia, but I've managed to teach him to read and write. How about, for a reduced fee, I will run a dyslexia department here in your school to help children with learning difficulties.
But we have no one in our school with dyslexia.
Oh yes, you do. As many as 1 in 5 children has dyslexia. They're branded as either slow, stupid or lazy, which harms them. They can become disruptive.
What qualifications do you have with regards to dyslexia?
I've read everything there is to know. English can at times seem illogical, but most words, well, they follow rules. I've created games and methods to enable dyslexics to learn. This one I call the Pokey Game. There are about 200 words that don't follow any rules at all. They need to be learned by sight as a visual memory. I will call out one of these tricky words, and then the pupil has to poke a pencil through the correct hole. Why don't you have a go? Set. Oh, you see? Mr. Freeman, I have lived years with the frustration and torment of seeing my son go through hell. I have seen a happy child turn into a defeated, introverted child full of anger. I know what it's like. Let me help them.
Very complicated. Of prison inmates are dyslexic. What does that tell you? For me, it means that, at the very early stage, they become so frustrated that they become disruptive, just as at some point Mike was. And then, society cannot contain them, and then they resort to, other ills and forms. So it's very important as a society that we take this seriously if we want to reduce the number of people who eventually get into our prisons. It goes beyond just a student being able to eventually know how to read or write, or become, capable in that way. It's really a societal problem, so it's very important. And I'm happy also that we have parents who have gone through the journey, just as Pat did with Mike Jones, and they're going to share with us quite briefly their story of how they were able to cope and how their kids are thriving as a result. So let me call on, at this stage, let me call on if Mr. Fred Kissy is here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, but let's do Madame Nikia Sapon first. Then we'll do Mr. First. Madame Nikia Sapon, can you help us? All right.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm sitting here and I was literally welling up because this is me. I mean, you relate. It's shocking. It's me from end to end. I have to stop myself from crying. I've seen this before, but I saw it in the eyes of my son. So I actually saw it in the eyes of Michael. And of course it gives me a different understanding of it. But now, today, I'm watching it in the eyes of the mom. And I'm thinking, wow, I'm actually not doing badly at all. Because this is me, I mean, from end to end. So, yeah, my name is Nikia Sapon. I have I'm a proud, I've been blessed with a 9-year-old boy. He's now 9, he's dyslexic. My son is handsome, extremely handsome. He is sweet-natured, he's amazing, he's charming, very charming, sort of like me. He works hard, I mean, and I gush over my children. And I have to, and I'll tell you, I really have to. And because they've got characters that we need to bring out of them. And so I have to gush, and I do gush with my children. I think my son is better looking than yours, but anyway. So Kofi is my first. I have 3 children, And slightly premature, but I still wonder if that was ever a reason. Anyway, but healthy child, does everything as your regular 9-year-old. When he was born, nothing out of place. He was fine, he went through his developmental milestones, like every other child. But what we noticed a little earlier was that he was very active. I mean, he's got so much energy, more energy than your average child. He literally bounces off walls. My house is too small for Kofi. Even if I gave him a football pitch, it's still too small. He would run around because he has energy. And we realized very early on that he has a little bit of attention deficits. He's not very focused. And in school, you know, he started fresh a little early, a little late, 3, which is pretty standard. And at 3, which I think that was when we started picking things up. When, at 3, I think by Ghanaian standards, every child should have been through ABCDs. At 3, Kofi could barely make it through F. It was a struggle. It was difficult. And then we noticed little things. When he started writing, he couldn't get D and D. When he started writing, he was flipping the letters. So B and D was confusing, P and Q, C and O. 6 was always flipped, 3 was always flipped. We would go over it and over it. Now he's 9. I still need to do D and B. You have to, because he still doesn't get it. What else? So at 3, I remember I picked him up from school, or maybe at 4. You know, when his friends were writing 3 letters, he could barely color within a picture, always coloring outside it. So we always had a term that, you know, can you not do your work, chaka chaka, and he said, I think the teacher had been saying it over and over again. So we started, and then that helped us remind him that he needed to work within spaces. I went to pick him up from school once, I think it was about 4, and he wasn't on the play field, on the play, playing with the other kids. So I asked and said, the teacher said, oh no, he needs to stay in a little longer because he can't get his ABCDs. So I thought, that's wrong. I mean, how do you tell a 4-year-old child that he couldn't play with his friend just because he couldn't get his ABCDs? And so, we had a few words. So I think that was then when I started seeing that there was something not, I don't like to use not right, something that needed attention. And school became a crime battle. Every time we had to go to school, he'd cry, he hated it. We could never get him to like school. So we changed schools. And then we found another school that they were just about 6 in the class. So I thought this was perfect. We can't get it any better. Because then, the teacher is focused, has a bit more attention on him. By this time, he's about 5. Teacher was trained teacher, proper trained campus teacher. Started calling him lazy. And the teacher wasn't happy, I can tell you for free. Because by then I started reading and I knew that he had dyslexia. Then when you start searching, dyslexia pops out for learning difficulty, children who can't read, and then dyslexia started popping up. So then I knew, so I really had a good telling off at the teachers thinking that, you're a trained teacher and you're a class of 6. So if you can get him right, then you're the lazy one, not the child. Because with 6 kids, that's the most ideal class for any teacher. So I think you're lazy. Anyway, she wasn't happy with that. And she never became my friend, but I didn't care about that anyway. So going forward, and then I think at 5 or 6, I found a school. But between 4 and 6, then I realized, I have to be his biggest advocate. I had to do the work. Because after moving to schools at 5 years old, that is not right. I did a school all my life. I did the same school. I never changed school. So for me, my child changing school, and at 5, I was considering the 3rd school. That was for me a problem. And I said, nobody can do it better than me. So I quit my job and I started teaching him. So I figured out early on that with him, you have to teach him in the way that only he understands. It's not a one-size-fits-all. So you have to figure out your child and know exactly what his peculiarity is, and then create the system that teaches him exactly how only he understands. So I invested in everything, gosh, everything, books, apps, programs, and then I met Joy. I think, it was Joy. So I started Googling. I remember one time I was up at night, I was in tears, because he's everything in a child, but he has such low confidence. Because in class, he can speak, in class, you just stay out, and it's very heart-wrenching for a parent to see your child struggle, and it's a struggle that you don't have the answer to, and because he's handsome, it doesn't, it's difficult because he has everything, but he can't read. He can't read in class. If you ask him to start to read in class, it's a nightmare. He's crying, and then there's a little bit of aggression in there as well because they pent up their anger, and then they start fighting other kids. Yeah, and that wasn't going to happen. So we started, teaching him myself slowly, painfully. It's actually quite painful. Because when you're looking at, let's say, CAT, he's telling you PQR. And why can't you get it? I mean, it's so simple. It's just CAT, how difficult is it? And he's telling you something entirely different. So I had to school myself to understand that one, he's different, he's special, and he's the best gift God has given me, and I've got to do it myself. So I have to constantly remind myself to calm down, to understand it in his eyes, his struggles, and then you'll be able to appreciate how much he needs, to help him solve what he's going through. We've tried different things. I've also figured out that it might not be academia for him, But of course, he's got to learn to read and write. But if he's going to be a carpenter, he has to be the best carpenter in the world. If he has to be a mason, he will do his master's in masonry. But there are other options. It is not just he might not be a lawyer, who knows, but he can be the greatest artist. So we tried everything. We tried guitar, he hated it. We tried swimming, and now he's loving it. He's in a competitive swimming team. Because we figured out that that's the only place that he excels. Because he gets medals, and he gets the pleasure of winning. And then it spurs him on to other stuff. We've tried piano, it was a struggle, now he's loving it. Me, I'll try anything. He loves cooking. I was speaking to a friend, she was talking about horse riding. Sign me up. We're going to do everything. But I also need to know what he's good at. And it won't fall from the sky. You've got to put in the hard work so you're able to identify what he's good at. And that's what we've done. So now, I also had to teach him to read differently. So for instance, we learn how to read phonetically. And for words that are non-phonetic, we chew them. So we all have a store of words that we can always count on. So I was telling that even if you write backwards or flip words, you can still guess it because you have a store of words. But for dyslexics, they have to read every letter and then make the word, and then create a sentence. So they have to work 3 times as hard as every other kid. So for reading, for instance, we have to have creative ways of reading. He'll read a line, I'll read a line. Then he starts, read a paragraph, I read one. Then he reads 2 paragraphs, then I read half. And then it spurs him on. We have to make learning fun. We learn fractions using pizza. So if you take 1 pizza out of 8 slices, it's 1/8. If you eat the 6, the 4 slices, it's half. He likes cooking. So, Kofi, can you help me read the recipe? And he enjoys it. When we're going out and we see signboards, what have they written on? What is this? Can you read it to me? And it's helping him now. He loves reading. He reads well. He reads for his age. We're working with the spelling, and he gets it. But it's a deliberate effort. You've got to put in the hard work as a parent. So, that's my story. I just have a few things for the other dyslexic parents. One, just take homes. It's your job as a parent, and you have to be his biggest cheerleader, biggest fan club. Every time you have to remind him of how good he is. Affirmation is so important. In fact, affirmation is everything, because when their confidence is high, they're able to do everything else. So it's a constant affirmation. So everybody, we have our own affirmation. I'm smart, I am intelligent, I am handsome, I am kind, and I'm a child of God. And we say it every day, because we've got to remind him constantly. What else did I put down? You have to be the biggest cheerleader. You've got to learn to calm your nerves, because it's very easy to get frustrated. It is frustrating. No, it is frustrating. So you've got to learn to calm your nerves, and then remind yourself that he's struggling as much as you are. And when you're frustrated, he shuts. So it's your job to make him enjoy what he's doing. As a parent, you've got to be very honest about your child's, what's another word for condition? Issues. It's not a condition. You've got to be honest about it yourself. Because I've met so many parents who would say, oh, I can't sign up my child with a school with learning disabilities. I don't want him to be tagged as he having learning disabilities, because everybody would think. But if you don't If you can't be honest with yourself and finding the solution you need, he's probably going to end up in prison. You know, so that's enough reason to be honest to yourself, and then, but when you are honest to yourself as well, I think everything opens up for you, and you find the solution, or the solution really finds you as well. I've come to realize that. You're the best teacher. Nobody can teach your child like you can. You've got to teach him the way that only he gets it. Repetition helps. Constant repetition of the same thing. It's slow, but you have to repeat. What you learned yesterday, you have to repeat it again today. Try again tomorrow. Then you test it a little bit. If not, you start again. But we're always at the same point. But at least it's small steps, small progress, very incremental progress. Make friends with your child's teacher. You've got to. You have to motivate them. You have to encourage them. Because you need them to have your child next to them. And also to be reminded that your child has struggles. Because if they don't, they'll be the one that sits at the back of the class that we beat. You know, the child that nobody wants to deal with because it's stressful. So you need to make your child's teacher your friend. Try everything else. Everything else you can. Try it and it works. I mean, now my son is in the mainstream school. He's finally, gotten to the point where we're comfortable enough to put him in the mainstream school, and he is surviving. But it's been hard work, but it works. And it works. You'll get through it. So yeah. I hope, my story would inspire a parent and see that there's hope. There's plenty of hope. Yeah. Thank you.
I think we can do it better. Tell the story. And we are so proud of you as a parent and what you achieved with Kofi. I was hoping maybe next time we'll probably bring him. So we'll see how charming he is.
Yes.
I don't regret that at all. If he takes after you, that is. All right, okay, so let's welcome another parent who's also going to share his story with us. I'm sure there will be a few takeaways. I hope you are taking some points and pointers that you can take home with you. And Makia Sapon mentioned how we should be number one, cheerleader. Very important voice of affirmation. Also, that we should be honest with ourselves. And there are a lot of parents who, are not honest with themselves. And because what you're doing is you're not creating an environment that will, help your parents in this situation, and help your child in this situation. All right, so Mr. Kisei, you're here? Yeah. Yes, okay, all right. I want to applause you.
Good morning. I tried. I hope I picked the right thing. I tried this, putting down some points so that I have 5 minutes. But I want to start first and give all the glory to God. Acknowledge Him and tell Him that we are very, very, very grateful. Then my wife is here. Thank you. So, it's a long story. Our son is called Andrew. He has a D in his name. So you can imagine how he was spelling his name. Andrew. Like every parent, and especially when you work in the university, like I do, and you see how education is a leveler. Education has brought me far. If I look at where I have come from, you want to invest everything into your children to make sure that they get the best. So we have an elder son who is fine. Andrew came on the scene, and we were all expecting that he would take after his senior brother. So he was born when 19. I know he's 23 or 22 now. He's 23 now. So, like they are saying, he looked sharp, he looked smart. Take him to a fitting shop, and he's telling the mechanic what to do. Anything electrical and those things at that young age, fixing things. So everybody tells you, your son is bright, your son is good. He starts school at University of Ghana Basic School and gets to play a role as King Herod in a play. And then there was another one, he was the president of University of Ghana with soldiers, a play. So people saluting his convoy, all of these things. So happy parents. Then going forward, when you have to write, you have to read, difficulties started coming in. So, saying 2 times table, difficult. You go over with him. Say it again, he's not able to. Spell, problem. Read, problem. And so we tried all means. And insults. At the school, in one particular class, they had a role for people who don't do well. And the insults, like he was feigning sickness. There were some particular days that he would also feign that he wasn't well, he was not going to school. So we tried, we didn't know what it was. And we also added to the insults. I told him he was lazy, and I wasn't positive. So going on, started getting teachers at home, doing extra classes at school, teachers at home, but still, his notes, there were always gaps. No notebook came complete. There were always gaps. You can't make this from that. Even the spelling things he was copying on the blackboard, strange alphabets. So in all of this, we were doing our best. We would go to one of the classmates and take the notes, photocopy, and come home and come and help him to teach him. We went on this way. God being on our side, he was promoted to every level. I don't know how he managed it. But the teachers were insulting, calling him names. Friends were laughing at him and all of it. He would come back home very sad and all the things. So one day we were watching Bill Cosby's show, and then this scene was enacted. There was this boy who had dyslexia. And so, out of that, having heard the word before, what is this? It was a weekend. So quickly, I tried to write what it sounded like. And then checked. And when I checked, everything there was just my son. So that was where we started the healing process. I made photocopies of the things and went to the teacher. They had subject teachers those times. By then he was in class 5. So they had subject teachers. I tried to meet every one of them to tell them this is the condition of my son. I went to the headmistress and arranged that I wanted to talk at the PTA meeting to talk on dyslexia. She gave us the opportunity, and I came with somebody and we spoke to the PTA on dyslexia. So I started reading The Gift of Dyslexia, Dyslexia for Dummies, all kinds of things. Just reading. And we also watched this film together, like Stars on Earth. Good. And it was at that time we explained his condition to him, and we apologized to him for the way we have treated him, and assured him that we loved him the way he was, and we were going to do everything possible to bring him up on tops. So, through reading, I got to know that he had to do this phonics all over again. So, somebody in class 5, I took him to somebody who had just come from the US. And she was good in these things. So when he closes from school at Legon, then I'll go and drop him at West Legon for the phonics. And we also got to meet Auntie Joy. May God bless her. So she had the software, TTRS, Touch, Type, Read, and Spell. So this boy would travel from Kisema area, West Distant, take a car to Asylum Dam to come and do this practice. And then from there, we were staying at Alajo by then. I took him through 2 days and left him on his own because I couldn't stop work. And by God's grace, he was covered. This brought a lot of help in his reading, in his everything started changing. We were using sandpaper to write B and D. And the sand, we were writing in the sand, and all of these things. So reading together, doing everything together, helping him. He got to JSS and went through. There was this competitive exam from class 6 to JSS. I was just praying he will pass. By God's grace, he passed. So JSS 2, you have new crop of teachers. You have to tell them who he is and the kind of help he needs. So through JSS, we were there to support. We were still copying notes, taking notes from classmates. Sometimes you have to drive. Homework is incomplete. And you are calling somebody to do this thing. So on and on to JSS. He didn't get a single digit. He got a double. But there was this woman whose children were going to university primary. And I passed in front of their home. So I picked them. They were going with taxis. And I started picking them. So I'll pick them every morning, bring them back every evening. And she asked me, how about Andrew? Has he gotten a school? I said, no. He said, oh, I know this headmistress here. I said, the mark is high. He said, oh, let's go. We went and he was offered admission. To knowing him, we chose visual arts. So that at least. But then, visual arts had to go with elective maths. And we didn't want him to go to boarding house because we knew his condition. So in school, we still had teachers who were coming home to teach him for every subject. And whoever came and made photocopies of you to tell you who he was and why he needs special care. So whilst he was in secondary school, before the third year, we made him write November examinations. Then he came to write the June examinations. He got some credits and this thing, but could not take him to the university. So we enrolled him in a private secondary school, and there he also went, he wrote November again and then this thing. So if you put the 4 together, if you put the 4 together, you could put credit here, credit here, credit there. Okay? But he passed elective maths and couldn't pass maths. So we tried maths. Still, he wrote elective maths again, he passed it. But maths was a problem. And that is a core subject you need to go to the university. So we tried Methodist University. And they said they would take him, because of his elective maths, for a diploma program in ICT. I said, praise the Lord. So he went to Methodist University, and there too, they had study groups. Now I couldn't bring a lecturer home to come and teach him. But then what we made sure was to befriend his friends who were in the groups. So we related to them, we would call them, and all of those things. We asked them to assist him and this thing. So he went through, and he finished the diploma, and he got a diploma in ICT from Methodist University to the glory of God. After that, then they took him on for the degree program. So he started the degree program, finished the first year, and our son is in Australia, the first one. So we arranged for him to go and visit his brother. So that was after the first year. When he went, looking at the place, this boy didn't want to come back. The only way was to look for a school for him. So, and it was short. They gave him just 3 months visa. So, they applied to a school. He had to write this IS, one of these examinations. He wrote it. By God's grace, he passed. He got their requirement. And then the school invited him to come and write a written exam and an interview. Then, by God's grace, he passed again. So then they offered him admission. So as we speak, Andrew Kise is a student of James Cook University in Australia. This is how far the Lord has brought us. He says, it is not him who willeth, it is not him who runneth, it is the Lord who shows mercy. He says I should stop. I will stop. So, it is doable. It is possible. Let the parents be concerned. And let's make noise until our government realizes that there are a group of people that if we help them, our prisons, the numbers would decrease. It's been a journey. It's been challenging. God has provided the funds. He has made way. And once again, I want to end to thank Auntie Joy. Thank my wife for standing with us. She's been so strong. When I was giving up, she will come in and say, it is possible. And I want to again say, thank you, Lord.
Wow. So much to learn, isn't it? So much to learn from the journeys. And I'm sure we've picked a thing or two. And you may have a few questions. We have about 15 minutes more to wrap up the session, and we'll be taking questions from any one of you. Anything that's bothering your mind, something that you may want a bit of clarity on. We have Mama Rosalind here, we have the parents here as well. So if you have any questions with regards to dyslexia, you can just raise your hands, ask the question, and then our resource persons would be of benefit to you, but they will be able to respond. Any question? Anything bothering your mind? Maybe from the stories I've been told, you've probably there's a hint or two on people you may know who may be dyslexic or may be showing symptoms, and you want a few clarity on that. Or if you want to know more about the organization, how you can reach out to them, you know. Any question, anything that's on your mind? Yes, sir. You mentioned your name to us, and then you can just ask the question.
My name is Pakayani, and I'm excited about what I've seen so far. But I just want to help parents, remembering a bit of what Ekuya Sapong said, her experience with the teachers, and at some point her reaction, especially with a class of 6. And I think I remember her saying that she thought that if the teacher had just 6, the teacher was being lazy. I understand where she was coming from, but the reality is that I don't know whether it's changed now, but in teacher training, special education may not always be one of the components. I did special education, but it was a choice from a lot of electives. There were more popular electives. I was late, so the popular ones were full. So I got to choose special education, and I enjoyed it very much. One of the things I remember learning was that if, like in that situation, the teacher was still finding the child difficult to communicate with and succeed with, then the teacher ought to see that they, the teacher, had the problem, not the child. But this was through my exposure to special education, and I've told you how I got to do special education. So if it hasn't changed, then it's very likely that even in the teacher training institutions, special education may not even be a core. And even if it is a core, it's possible that dyslexia by itself may not be the focus. So you might have lots of professional teachers in schools handling children, and because they don't have the knowledge, they probably can't even tell a dyslexic child, let alone how to handle the dyslexic child. So let's be a little more patient and understanding of the teachers. I don't think it's their fault. It will be their fault when we know that they are taught, they can identify, they have the solutions, and yet they're not doing it. So let's be a bit more tolerant of the teachers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Makayani. And I don't know, the last I had you were, are you still at Richard School?
I still am.
Okay, all right. Yes, and to buttress on that, I think advocacy must grow stronger and stronger, to government, because I'm an educationist myself. And so every school should have, a special ed teacher. There should be either an educational psychologist, because it's really commonplace. I mean, as we already know, 1 in 5 people have it. So it has to be mainstream. It's not, something that has to be secluded. And maybe we can, but not every parent can afford a special school. So I think all mainstream schools should have a special ed teacher or educational psychologist who, will guide these kids who have this situation. You have to say something?
We do have Ministry of Education and reps from GES here.
Okay.
Maybe they can throw a light on for us to know what is happening with regards to inclusive education and what the full course of learning difficulties are.
That's fine. So you know them, isn't it? But okay, all right. So a rep? Yes, you want to say something? Your name, please, don't mind, your portfolio, if you don't mind.
So my name is Wilma Titus Glover, and I'm the Principal Program Officer for Inclusive Education at the Ministry of Education. Incidentally, last week, that's a week today, we were in Kumasi training master trainers. I wish I could pass my phone round so that you could see the pictures of teachers doing practical work in designing instruction for the different kinds of students. And the concept is getting through, the principles are getting through, and I can assure you that it's going to work. You are in our thoughts. And for Mr. Ayani, yes, it was back then that certain students chose special needs. But for now, teacher training colleges are going to adopt a system where you have to take a special training.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So that not everybody may know of this, worthwhile program that you're doing. So we really appreciate it. At least there is hope, and that's good for us. Any question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Contribution. I'm also a teacher, a special educator teacher, in the resource teacher at Siga East. My secretary is Pabina Atomi. And we are also in the mainstream of assisting the children with special needs. So as my madam said, gradually we will get there one day.
Thank you very much. I hope that's quite reassuring. Is there another question? Maybe we'll take my senior man. I see your hand up. Yes.
Yes, thank
Just
you very
introduce yourself to us.
It looks like there's a few of the Ministry of Education and GES around. I also work with the Ministry of Education. But so my colleague also said something. I'm happy about that. Just some comments and then maybe a question. But first, thank Akua for what you said. When I was young, I kept telling my mother I was a Musansam. and he said, she kept saying that she had me and she knew me before. And I like it. And like I said, thank you very much. By the way, we got English names that are hidden. The same 4 times and yes, but it's a very clever thing you did. The data on the prisons inmates, for me, it's so revealing. I was just shocked when I heard it. And I don't know if there's any research going on at prisons now that shows something, but this is one of the things that the ministry we can take up and begin to have this conversation to make these points stronger. And it really cuts across. My question will reveal what it is. I will plead that, the audio visuals that is being taken, please do well to share it in a good way. Because this is a treasure trove. Whatever we heard here, it must be played over and over and over again. Not just to children of dyslexia, but children with special needs. Because there are some things that really cuts across. Certainly, I hope there will be some road campaign on this, going forward. And if there's anything like that, then at the ministry, together with my senior colleague, we need to work together and see how we can help with your road campaigns going into the schools. One of the key people I think we should really pay attention to is what we call the private schools. It's very, very important. There are some 2-3% of private schools who seem to be getting a lot of things right. But most of them, they don't even have professional teachers. They are doing great. They are doing great. But they don't seem to even be able to take on children with special needs. I have a daughter who is autistic, and it took us a while to find a good school. And so it's one of the things we really need to do. So now to my question. What is the similarities between dyslexia and autism? Because whilst they were talking, I could see a bit of my own daughter in some of the things you were saying. So what's the similarity here? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
It's a good question. Sometimes there's a bit of an overlap, but dyslexia itself is a learning difficulty. But when we talk of autism, it's more developmental related. So they are both born with. There might be the similarities of both of them having learning difficulty, because the child with autism also has attention problem, because they can only focus at a time on one thing. But when it comes to autism, there's a more complicated other conditions that will present. A child with autism might have, different from the attention problem, might have communication difficulties, social difficulties. But the one with dyslexia might not have communication problem. They can speak well, they can use vocabulary very well, but then socially, especially when it comes to getting frustrated with not picking up things, well, that's when they might show social difficulties. But in the beginning, they would do everything socially right. Diagnosis for the two also vary. So with dyslexia, you would need specific, call it cognitive assessment tools to diagnose it. Autism comes with a different set of tools. There's, I think, a summary of how to differentiate it. But mostly if you're suspecting anything, just see a psychologist or a doctor. They can always help you to diagnose and then the best way forward for them.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. More questions, but for this gathering, we'll take one final question. Yes, please go ahead.
My name is Abdullah Sulemana, the Regional Coordinator for Special Education with Accra. I just want to add to my brother's contribution. We had a parental gathering, and that was where it manifested that some schools are not actually interested in putting that in especially these children. There was a scenario, a child who had got into JHS 3, and the school asked that this child cannot write DEC. There and then the child started soiling himself until the parent got in touch with the education office, who assured him that the child can write a DEC. When the news was broken to the child, the soiling ceased. And the child is now a pianist, which the family, according to the parents, that among all of them, it's only the grandchild who is able to take up to their fathers, their forefathers, because that was what they used to do. And you can imagine such a situation where this child would have been left unattended. So we need actually also to encourage parents as well. Because if we don't encourage them, some of them, we have had issues at the office. When they come, they are directed to go for assessment, it becomes an issue. So we need actually to encourage them, support them, so that together we can actually move them ahead. This is what I want to add.
Thank you very much. All right, so Mother Rosalind will wrap it up for us. But before then, all right, she's giving me the go-ahead to sort of surmise our gathering. I think it has been a useful gathering. Do you agree? Yeah. A round of applause for all of us. And we are in time. We are in time. Maybe it's one trait of people with dyslexia, right? You took that time. No. All right. Okay, so I'm going to read something because actually the aim of the Sustainable Goal number 4 is to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. There is approximately 9 years left to ensure that this goal is met. As we are working towards this goal, we should also ensure that no child is left behind. Therefore, as the education system is also working to achieve full diversity and inclusion, should also ensure that the needs of children diagnosed with dyslexia are met. This can be done through establishing affordable and reliable screening centers, creating public awareness on dyslexia like we are doing, and intensively training the teachers and parents and investing into the development of new ways of helping the children learn better. Through efforts from all sectors and stakeholders, children and adults diagnosed with dyslexia will be able to meet their full potential and fulfill their dreams. On that note, I would like to wrap up this conversation that we've had today in the outdooring of the Code Red campaign, which is really a campaign to create the awareness of dyslexia in Ghana. And we're happy with the African Dyslexia Organization led by Rosalind Nate, in partnership with Dyslexia Ghana, led by Madam Joy Thomas, for spearheading this campaign. We're also grateful to Ikuya Sapon for that telling story, and also Mr. Frederick Kise, who really walked us through the journey of Andrew. We're happy where Andrew is right now at James Cook University. I also want to thank, and I'm so appreciative of the Ministry of Education and the Ghana Education Service. We have close to about 10 of you here, and this really goes to tell that you are really focused on creating an all-inclusive education for our world. So we are grateful. All parents, we are so grateful for your time. And of course, to Movenpick Ambassador Hotel, who welcomed us. Once we went to the round of applause for us. they didn't hesitate a moment. They said, you know what, we have one of the finest, we are the finest hotel, and I think as part of our CSR would want to contribute. And then they gave us this opportunity. So we are so grateful, Andy, for this opportunity. After here, there's some few ground rules. There's going to be there's coffee that we can take, and we will have a group session, photo at the lobby. After which there will be, I'm sure a few of you have some questions, so we can have a tete-a-tete, as we munch on our cookies and then coffee. So that would be the ground rules. I don't know whether Rosalie you want to give a final vote of thanks. Normally would say a closing prayer, but we didn't start with a prayer, so I don't know if that is appropriate at this point. But I want to really thank every one of you for making time of your busy schedules to be here, and I'm sure it has been a very useful gathering. My name is Ebalohini Akwe, and I'm an educational consultant myself. I like to MC on very important issues like this. So thank you very much for your time, and do have a good day. So, okay, then go to the lobby. Well, let's pick up the program.